Do y'all remember this story I did on September 20th, 2024, where I talked about a former police officer who walked into the judge's chambers and he eliminated a judge on some allegations that's been founded? But we're going to get to that in a little bit. But in case you forgot, we got the footage right here. Let's get to it. DJ, spin that shit.
News from News Channel 11.
We're continuing to track that breaking news in Kentucky, where the Letcher County Sheriff is accused of shooting and killing a district judge inside the Letcher County Courthouse.
Kentucky State Police say 911 received a call about the shooting just before 3 p.m. today. Police confirmed that the shooting happened inside the county courthouse in Whitesburg, Kentucky. Our preliminary investigation indicates Letcher County Sheriff Shawn Stines fatally shot Judge Kevin Mullins following an argument inside the courthouse.
Life-saving measures were reportedly attempted, but they were unsuccessful. Mullins was pronounced dead at the courthouse. News Channel 11's Jayana Scurry has been in Letcher County all evening piecing together what happened. So, Jayana, Kentucky State Police gave an update about 8 this evening. What have you learned?
Yes, Sarah, Casey, the scene is now clear, but earlier this afternoon, the Letcher County Courthouse was surrounded by officers after what we're told the Letcher County Sheriff, Shawn Stines, fired multiple shots at District Court Judge Kevin Mullins, killing him after an argument. A quiet afternoon at the Letcher County Courthouse turned violent. The cause still unknown.
The details I do not have at this time. We know that it was an argument between the two that led up, but what exactly transpired prior to the shots being fired, still things that we're trying to get answers to.
Kentucky State Police Trooper Matt Gayhart says Letcher County Sheriff Shawn Stines shot and killed District Judge Kevin Mullins inside of his judge's chamber within the courthouse. He says he also doesn't know if anyone else was in the judge's chambers, but there were multiple witnesses in the courthouse, and KSP wants to talk with everyone.
Every witness that was inside the building will be interviewed as standard protocol throughout the investigation.
Gayhart says Sheriff Stines was arrested at the courthouse and is cooperating. He has been charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. Gayhart says he's not aware of an incident like this ever happening before in Letcher County.
We could use everybody's prayers, send prayers for the family that they get through this difficult time.
The Kentucky State Police is taking lead on this investigation. Now, Judge Mullins' body is being transported to a medical examiner's office where an autopsy is being done. Now Sheriff Stines remains in custody, but which correctional facility he's being transported to is not being shared at this time. Live in Whitesburg, Kentucky, Jayana Scurry, News Channel 11.
All right, so that was the footage from what happened 2 months ago. And this was the scene. Now, I don't have the video. And for YouTube purposes, I cannot show that footage because it is very graphic. But from this footage that is on the screen right now, you should have an idea what happened, right? So the former sheriff appeared in court, and the grand jury returned a murder charge Thursday against the former Eastern Kentucky sheriff. The indictment accuses Shawn Mickey Stines, the then sheriff of Letcher County, of shooting and killing Judge Kevin Mullins inside the office on September 19th at around 3 p.m. local time. The prosecutor, Commonwealth Attorney Jackie Steele, said after the indictment was returned that he could not comment on the alleged motive on the homicide, though police said earlier that Stines and Mullins had argued just before the shooting. About 15 friends and family members of the slain judge were in the courtroom Thursday afternoon as Judge Julia H. Adams received the indictment and set Stines' arraignment for next Monday. I'm going to talk about that when that happens on Monday. Now, Stines has been without bond since the shooting, and Steele said during the short hearing on Thursday that he continues to oppose any bond for Shawn Stines. He don't need to get out. For what? Now, Adams says she is inclined to set a bond for Stines, meaning that he would be released pending trial if he could post it. So if and when this bond gets set, right, I could see this bond being like maybe like $1 million, maybe even $2 million, something like that, right? And then he's going to have to come up with that money if he intends on getting out. Otherwise, he'll be there before the trial. He'll be in prison right before the trial. Now, Thursday's indictment was not unexpected, as the shooting was captured on video, but it was the next step required for prosecuting Stines. The 43-year-old surrendered to police immediately after the shooting and was initially charged with murder in district court. Now, he's been in jail since then as he retired as sheriff less than 2 weeks after the shooting. My question is, how did he get to retire as a sheriff after the shooting? Shouldn't you get fired? Shouldn't you have no pension or anything like that? This means this man still draws a paycheck. If this man was allowed to retire after he murdered somebody, then in all likelihood, this man is drawing a pension. So your taxpayer dollars is paying this man's pension while he's rotting away in prison for deleting this judge. Boy, I tell you, boy, you cannot make this stuff up. Now, video of the shooting showed that when Stines pointed his gun at Mullins, the judge raised one hand as if to ward off the threat and then turned away from Stines and hunkered over in a defensive position. That's when Stines shot him the first time, sending Mullins falling to the floor. He then went to the other side of the desk to get a look at Mullins. The judge raised his hand. He ducked behind the desk for cover, and then Mullins shot him again. Stines walked quickly to the door, and when he opened it to leave, but he quickly turned towards Mullins, who was on the floor and appeared to still be moving. Stines fired again. And then after he fired that final shot, that's when he turned around and left. There was no sound in the 24-second clip. An October 1st hearing in the case, Clayton Stamper, a detective with the Kentucky State Police, testified that Stines tried to call his daughter on Mullins' phone and on his own phone just before the shooting. Stamper said Stines stood up from his chair from the judge's office and that looking at Mullins' phone and shot him seconds later. So what that's telling me is the detective or the former sheriff called Mullins' phone to see or called Mullins' phone to see if his phone would ring. So that tells me right there he probably had his daughter's cell phone. That tells me right there he had his daughter's cell phone. So when he heard that cell phone ring, or when that cell phone vibrated or whatever like that, that's when he went completely off the rails. That's when he blasted this judge, the kingdom come, thy will be done. So we're going to learn more at the trial. The crime could be eligible for the death penalty if Stines is convicted because Mullins was a public official. Steele, who was prosecuting the case with Attorney General Russell Coleman's office, said that there had been no decision yet on whether to seek the death penalty against Stines if he is convicted. However, Stines' attorney, Jeremy Bartley, said that he does not think the murder is the appropriate charge in the case. Bartlett said at the October 1st hearing that the evidence offered there pointed to the shooting as being an act of extreme emotional disturbance in reaction to something Stines seen on Mullins' phone. That, in my opinion, allegedly is his daughter's cell phone number on Mullins' phone. There was no information at the hearing about what was on the phone. If a jury decided Stines acted out of extreme emotional disturbance, he couldn't be convicted of murder, but rather first-degree manslaughter or a lesser crime. The death penalty will not be an option in that case. Now, Letcher County is a rural mountain county in the southeast corner of Kentucky on the Virginia border. It is around 150 miles from Lexington. So, he gets arraigned on Monday. And we will learn whether or not this man gets bail. If he gets no bail or if he gets bail, what's the amount? And then at that point, we should get a trial date. And then at that trial date, we will get the details of this situation. Is he going to get charged with murder? Or if they can prove emotional disturbance based on what was on that cell phone, and I like to believe this man discovered his daughter's number in this judge's phone. And we're going to get more context as to what this argument was about. Now, I believe this argument was about this judge having his daughter's number in his cell phone and has been contacting his daughter for whatever reason. We're going to get more detail as to about what caused this man to eliminate this judge in his own chambers. Because I think the case centers around that. What was the argument about? Why was the judge having this man's daughter's cell number in his cell phone? Were they text messages? What else drove this man to do what he did to this judge on September 19, 2024? In time, there's going to be answers to these questions. And I'm going to be on this platform passing that along as it goes on. That's right. Because I'm curious. Because if this stuff can be proven, there's not a murder charge, and he's probably not going to get the death penalty because a murder charge of a public official carries the death penalty. So if he doesn't get the death penalty and he gets a lesser charge of manslaughter, whatever like that, then the death penalty will be off the table and he probably face some jail time. But that'll be decided by the judge. But anyway, you guys let me know what y'all think about this. This is only going to get crazier as the days and weeks pass and we can learn more information. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. If you want to donate to the channel, there's the Cash App, there's the PayPal. Any and all donations are accepted and appreciated. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hey!